Did I click it? Oh, I did click it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the 90. Thank you so much for joining. We've got a very special guest for you today. Callum from PostedByCallum YouTube channel. Again, link in the description to his Twitter and also his YouTube channel as well. But first of all, Callum, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks. Hope you're well too.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. Just first of all, how was the match against Bournemouth? We'll just talk a little bit about off camera, but 4-0, that must be fantastic. And I know you went to the game as well.
6-0. 6-0.
6-0.
Yeah.
I think
It's
that was,
bad.
Wolves result. But yes, sorry, 6-0. How was that?
No, it was fantastic. I mean, it was the debut for our new signing, Christos Zolis. And yeah, 2 goals and 2 assists for him on his debut. Josh Sargent, who we hadn't really seen much of, he was signed in the summer. It was kind of like the Pookie Air, I think, long term, but he scored twice. And just generally, I don't think there wasn't a single player that put a foot wrong. It was just generally a really good performance, the performance we needed coming into this weekend.
Yeah, we did, again after the thumping at Man City, because it was, again, we were just talking about that, unbelievable. But that performance is unfortunately with the were you playing the strongest team possible against the Bournemouth side?
Our strongest side against the Bournemouth side.
Yes.
There was a few changes. So as I said, yeah, Jolis came in, new signing. It wasn't completely second string. There were a few that would have been there before. Defence was of Mumba and Brandon Williams, another one who made his debut, and the centre backs of Zimmerman and Omar Bamadelli. They don't usually start. Gibson and Hanley are probably the main two. So it was a bit second string, but at the same time, there were players we could well see on Saturday starting as well.
Yeah. So yeah, fair enough. And just a couple of messages. So evening, Chester, and hello, Doug. So thank you for that as well. Hope you're doing well, and well done for the show on Monday as well. I've not managed to catch it, but I will watch it eventually. But yes, so one thing as well. Obviously, the big loss for you over the summer with the summer signings. You just mentioned one of them. I think he's the winger. Is he Greek winger?
Yeah, Jolis. Yeah, Greek winger.
Yes. So the summer signings in and out. How's the transfer window been for you?
Overall, I think there's been some promising signings, such as Jolis. I think it started off with a massive blow when Emi Buendia got sold. You don't really see many teams come up to the Premier League and then sell their best player straight away. So I think it was the fact that, we just didn't want it to drag out. We got it done early. I think his agent was pushing for that Arsenal move in January, but Arsenal weren't prepared to offer anything that we were interested in. But then Aston Villa come in with their big 33 million plus add-ons that could take it to like 38 million. I think at the end of the day, we just sort of had to say, listen, if you don't want to be here, fair play, you have to go, which was a massive blow for the Norwich fans. But fair play. A few players have come in, Jolis and Rashica as well, Sargent, quite a lot of attacking talent. I still like to see a centre back through the door and a defensive midfielder, because I still think squad depth wise, we just haven't got what quite a lot of other teams in the Prem have.
And yeah, and again, the thing is, if you stay in the Premier League for a long period of time, that will build with the money,
exactly.
And we've seen that.
Yeah, definitely staying up, just 17th. Fantastic, take it right now.
Fantastic. And just our friends over from, we've got a whole selection of Greek foxes as well. So they're asking about Solis as well. Can we become a top class player like Farkas said? So over to you, Callum.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday when I saw him at the Bournemouth game, fantastic on the ball. Control of the ball was amazing. Obviously, he can score, as he showed in Greece as well. He can score a goal. It would be great if he could show that in the Prem. I know he's young, so he can develop a little more. And his defensive contribution yesterday was really good. He was work rate fantastic. Yeah, I have really high hopes for him. 19 years old. Don't often see 19-year-olds that have that confidence and talent. So I think we've really picked up a gem there.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Again, the same thing. Two goals and 2 assists on his debut. Again, we've got some probably the same as you. Actually, since we're on that, obviously we've got. It's not comparison, but it's. Have you heard of like a group from a fan base outside of Norwich that was surprising? Because we've got Greek. They're amazing. We shout them out all the time, but it's amazing some of the international following that these smaller teams have.
Yeah, there's Argentinian Canaries, Brazilian Canaries, like South African ones. I think, yeah, it's great. Social media as well is great because you get to see like where everyone is, and like the American ones who obviously get up at stupid times in the morning to watch the games. It's amazing, really.
It is, and there's part of you that thinks, why would you do that? To a certain extent, but we love them all the same. So shout out to all the international fans. It is anyway. Moving back to this, one thing that they mentioned as well with the Greek Foxes was Daniel Farke and saying that Solis can be a top player. But how's he been? Obviously, he was in the Championship. He was in the Premier League with you guys before, went down, then came back up. Is he more of a well-rounded manager, or a more complete manager and a more complete team than you were when you came to the Premier League 2 seasons ago?
I'd say, yeah, I think he's learned some lessons. I don't think necessarily it was just, you can just put it down to Farke why we got relegated in the 1920 season. I think the board are realistic as well. Like, there's a massive popular narrative to just sack the manager, isn't there? And the board seemed pretty confident that if we went down, Farke was going to be the man. And I thought at the time, is this a bit risky? Because, we've come off Project Restart, but we weren't winning at all. We weren't scoring at all. Is it going to be a negative season? But absolutely smashed it. He plays his way, which is sometimes quite a difficult way to play in the Championship. But as we played more games in the Championship, we looked unstoppable, and it was amazing. And I think, yeah, as you said, hopefully there's some lessons learned this time. And I think there's been some ruthlessness, in the transfer window, which you asked about before. Alex Tettey and Mario Vrancic, 2 players we've loved before in the past. They've both been released. Tettey's gone back to Norway and Vrancic has joined Stoke. So there's been a bit of ruthlessness maybe with some of the players that, have helped us in the Championship. But we want to maybe try and step on a bit and stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I think that's the case for any team that comes to Premier League, and I totally agree. And I remember, God, that seems like it was only 2014 when we came into the Premier League, but it felt mental doing that. However, during that time as well, obviously, is there any players that we should look out for as Leicester fans, in terms of who's playing against them, or ones that have kind of snuck under the radar? Because the mainstream media doesn't like to talk about our teams a lot. However, there's always a player that, especially the fans, know the players that they rate the most at the same time.
I mean, who do I rate that's a bit under the radar? I really rate. I think Kieran Dowell's one to watch out for, really, because we have Todd Cantwell, Milo Rasica and Christoph Zolis. They're all kind of these attacking players that people, and Rasica was a new signing as well, just like Zolis was. Dowell, I think, started off the Championship last year with some injury worries, so we didn't really see him play until the later part of the season. I think even with the Norwich fans, there's a thought that Kieran Dowell's just a Championship player, but I think when he's in the team, we look really good with him in it. He's scored some fantastic goals for us. He's creative, and he was at Everton at a young age, and I think we get to see him do it in the Premier League, and I think this season could be when he does it.
Yeah, well, hopefully let's see. We'll see in the game. Just look at the formation that you selected as like a 4-3-3 with Billy Gilmore as CDM. I know you said he's on loan from Chelsea at the moment. Yeah. Timo Pukki, Aaron's is another one that's, I think, maybe it's is it frustrating as a fan to see Aaron's constantly linked to every single club as well?
You get used to it. Any player who's more than semi-decent usually gets sold. So I'm kind of numb from it now.
Fair enough, no problem. But is that kind of the 4-3-3? Was it how you set up against Bournemouth as well when you beat them 6-0 yesterday?
Yeah, I'd say, I'm trying to think. Yeah, back to it. I'd say, was it a little bit different? So Rupp and McLean played together. Sorensen, yeah, it was a little different. I think Sorensen played deeper than in the Premier League games. We haven't really got that defensive midfielder. But yesterday we played Sorensen as a defensive mid behind Rupp and McLean. I think we haven't really given Sorensen a chance in the Premier League yet, even though he's a defensive midfielder. It's what we need. It's because he's maybe young and he hasn't got the experience. We don't quite know yet if he's going to reach that Premier League level. So it was a little more or less the same formation. I think just a slightly different in the midfield.
Fair enough. Again, so we can expect. I'll bring up the we'll bring up the table, the formation that you played against Man City now. So it's kind of like a 4-3-3. Again, Gibson's one that's been overlooked as well. I think he was a great defender for Middlesbrough, and he's kind of been bounded about a few clubs. But how's he been for you as well?
Yeah, so he was on loan last season, and we've made it a permanent signing this summer. I was really impressed with him last season. He looked way too good for the Championship. Really, really calm. Doesn't make like a song and dance about it. He just gets it done. Hanley as well. I think both Hanley and Gibson are both fantastic defenders to have in the Championship, and as a centre back duo, they were unreal last season. I just it'll be interesting to see, because obviously, yeah, as you said, Gibson. I remember Gibson at Middlesbrough, because that was the season Norwich beat Middlesbrough in the playoff final, and Gibson was the centre Middlesbrough, so he wasn't happy that day. But now he's with us. You see how good he is. Yeah, interesting to see. He didn't have the best game against Man City, but I don't think many others did. So
no. It's going to be tough, and again, you've had such a tough start to the season as well. But hopefully, I think with the experience, you're hoping that it's going to improve. And again, Norwich is always a ground that obviously we'll speak about El Camera. It's quite a way away, but you're always well supported as well, and you always get behind the teams.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, good support, great. As I think I was saying to you earlier as well, that we sold out back in like League One and it was in the Championship. People don't stop coming. People love Norwich. I think we're just gonna I think a lot of fans know realistically this season's going to be tough, but at the same time, I'm hoping it can be a little bit better because Project Restart kind of sealed our fate, and we were left with the final games of the season just knowing we were going down, which wasn't that fun. Even just to fight and have a little more fight and competitiveness this time would just be great, just to show that we've made those signs of improvement.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's the case. Obviously, not against us, but I think one player as well we want to that we've got in common as well, James Madison, that we put off you for 25 million. Again, 2018, I want to say. God, it feels like ages ago.
Yeah, 2018.
2018. But what do you think the reception will be like for him? Because pretty much he's going to play. And what would the reception be for both him to the club? Because I know even now, I think he's still got a canary on his tattoo actually on his arm.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the reception will be like for him from the Canaries?
Yeah, I think on Father's Day he posted something on his Instagram and he was wearing a Norwich shirt, and it was the one where he scored a hat-trick against Hull. We lost that game 4-3, but glad to see that he still likes using that shirt and everything. The last home game before COVID last time was, I think, Leicester, when Jamal Lewis scored the winner 1-0, and Madison played that game. He got a really good reception, so I think it would just be the same again. He's really liked at Carrow Road. I loved him as a player. Disappointed that we sold him. But that was Sparker's first season. The signings he brought in didn't really work. And if I remember correctly, Madison just kind of carried the team a lot of the time. He was really good. And then selling him, a lot of fans got angry, but we used that money just to pick loads of players out from different places and just build a stronger team overall.
Yeah. We've seen that personally first time with Maguire, for example. We sold him for that money, then we invested that in about 3 or 4 different players and stuff.
Yeah,
so I totally get that.
Done it with Mahrez as well, haven't you? As well, kind of.
Yeah, there's been quite a few now. So we're getting to the stage now, hopefully, where we're building towards the top where that's not the case. But yeah, Mahrez, Chilwell of recent,
and Drinkwater as well. Yeah.
So Drinkwater again. It's still fun to wind up the Chelsea fans with 35.
Didn't go well at all, did it?
No, it was. But at the same time, when somebody offers you too much money for a player that means a lot to you, you're like, look, we can't turn down this kind of money. We'll see you later.
That happened to us as well. The same season, which was Farker's first season, we had Alex Pritchard, and in the January window, Huddersfield bought him off us for 12 million, and it went horribly for him at Huddersfield, and he's now at Sunderland in League One. But I think it was similar at the time where we wanted to keep him, but Huddersfield were just prepared to try and make that Premier League signing, and it didn't work. So it's disappointing because I loved him at Norwich, but at the same time, he chose to leave in January when Farker wanted to keep him, and it can be quite fun. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you still support them, but you go, oh, at least we got the money for you. It's a strange relationship, but you're like, well, we appreciate you for what you did for the club at the same time. A question again from the awesome Greek Fox as well. Should Giannoulis start on Saturday? Unfortunately, he didn't play very well against City, but on the other hand, Leicester do not have a very well attacking right winger.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, he definitely didn't play well against Man City. He got taken off at half time, and Ballymumba, and a young lad, came on at left back, and he didn't have a great game either. So they were kind of, I'm not really too sure there. Brandon Williams has obviously just signed. He's played left back for Man United, even though reportedly Man United see him as potentially a future right back. I'm not too sure then. I'm genuinely have no idea if Giannoulis will start on Saturday. I think he could. He's been the first choice left back since Farker's really rated him since he's come in. I was really surprised he came off at half time, to be honest. Something tells me he'll come back in, but I might be completely wrong there.
Fair enough. No problem there. But again, a lot of people are saying about playing on the right hand side because again, the position we are weak. We will get into that in tomorrow for the pre-match, the preview for the Leicester City stuff. But yes, I was just going to say one thing as well. Last season and the season you were in the Premier League, did you find your home form was better or your away form? And going into this season, do you think they'll be the same?
So in the Premier League, let me just try and remember. We didn't win many games, so I can probably count on my hand. So we beat Newcastle at home, we beat Man City at home. Everton
Yeah, that was
away.
a hell of a game as well.
Leicester,
3-2.
yeah,
Todd Cantwell, extremely good in that game.
fantastic game. Yeah, I think maybe slightly better at slightly better at home. I'm trying to remember where we beat Leicester and
You
Everton.
did.
And, yeah, that.
I think somebody put it over there already. Where's it gone? We drew one. Yeah, Chester's put in. Norwich beat us and got a draw in. I remember the draw. I can't
Yeah, it was
remember,
the
but
1-1, and that was an interesting game actually because Pookie did a typical Timu Pookie goal, which he'd been
yes, I
doing for
remember it now.
so consistently, and he got injured in that game. I think he hurt his
Yes.
foot in the game, and
Mm-hmm.
when he returned, he didn't look the same player, and it was really interesting to see that. He's obviously scored quite a few in the Championship again and got going, but I'm not sure whether he'll start himself. I'm not sure if Pookie will start on Saturday. I think we might put, because Sargent scored twice in the Cup yesterday. He's the long-term heir to Pookie, so that's kind of why we've got him. So I think it might be Sargent starting.
Fair enough. That could be interesting. But again, Timo Pukki has he not quite hit the same levels? Do you think he's not? You think he's not past his prime? But because I don't think he did anything this season with Finland as well, from what I remember from the Euros.
Yeah, I did watch him with Finland. He had no service, to be fair to him. It was I don't think I think even the best strikers in the world would have struggled to have scored in that Finland team. But yeah, Pukki's a really intelligent player. He's an interesting one. He's a fantastic player. I think Farka loves him. He's like Scandinavian, really professional, really hardworking, and yeah,
fantastic beard.
Yeah, as well, free transfer as well, and got us fired up the goals to get us to the Premier League. Fantastic signing. I just think as he's getting older, he's losing a little more of that pace. He's not quite. I don't know. Even though he scored plenty of goals for us last season in the Championship, there were still times where we're thinking he should be putting that away, considering Buendia was giving him so many chances on a plate a lot of the time. We were winning the games, but you're just thinking in the Premier League, if he misses that could be that could be the only chance we're getting in that game. So I think he's an interesting one. He's a great player, but I just feel maybe long term we need to think about the upgrade of him.
I know what you mean. I think that's something that's similar to what we had when we came into the Premier League, where it was not scoring goals, it was defending them, where we'd let one opportunity through, where in the Championship you could get away with it. In the Premier League, it's just lights out, and you're losing the game 1-0 or 2-0, and it costs you the game. And just from that, I think from the away as goal, the away one as well, I think Max Aaron scored an absolute worldie against us when you won at home. I think it was
Jamal Lewis. It was Jamal Lewis.
Oh, Jamal Lewis.
Aaron's got he got the assist. So it was a full back's goal, right back cross, left back. Yeah, both were great. Yeah, great goal.
Yeah, that was sensational. Hopefully that won't happen this time, but we'll have to see as well. Anne said as well. Okay, both of us are coming down. I think we're saying we're coming down for the game as well. I remember Norwich fans, one of the best at the KP, are properly underrated, and is that kind of how you look as well? It's kind of underrated in terms of like the Premier League, but just in general in terms of your fan base as well. Because it's from a neutral's perspective, I know that Norwich is really, really well supported.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got a great group of fans as well, and there was a really good atmosphere. From the Liverpool Premier League game is a good example. We hadn't obviously been in the stadiums for a full capacity Premier League game or league game at all for ages, and the atmosphere at the beginning was unbelievable. I think the fact that we then started to concede some goals, I think you heard the groans around, and I think to go. But yeah, I think generally our support's good, and the away support, yeah, great.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll look forward to the next time. But anything on your end as well, obviously with the way Norwich is performing, and obviously with the 4-3-3. Anything else anything else that you think the Leicester City fans might find useful as well?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out how we're going to play. I think we'll just kind of try and do our normal game. I know bookies, I know Leicester have a better squad than us, so Leicester will probably be favourites. But I do think I don't think this is like just a free hit. I think we can go for this one. We're going to try to play some football, and if it's Sargent, if it's Pookie, just patient, steady, but a bit like obviously not quite. We haven't got the squad that Man City have got, but a bit similar to that goal that Pookie scored at the KP. Well, a goal like that, just us breaking through. I don't know if you've got you've got who are your centre backs that are going to start, because I know Fofana got injured, didn't he?
Yes, so it's going to be Fofana and Evans are injured. So we've got Vestergaard, I think, is back, Daniel Amate and Soyuncu, who, if you watch the game which Leicester City fans have wiped it out of our memory, to be honest. 4-1, it was we've got absolutely trance, and we were poor, but also it's one of them games we have to give it to the opposition. We just went, you guys were so good. Looking back at it, we were really after the game. You're just especially losing 4-1, you're quite emotional after it. But looking back at it, we just got beaten by the better team, and you just got to hold your hands up and go, David Moyes knows how to play against us. And it's really annoying because he always scores at least 3 past us.
And great celebration from Michael Antonio.
With the yes. Do you know what? I can look back at it at the time, but during the time I was like, yeah, that is quite funny, but I'm just
annoyed.
Yeah. So I can look back at it now and go, okay, that's fine. But yeah, again, Callum, thank you for joining as well. I've left your link to your channel down below, but where can the people find you, just in case?
Yeah, on Twitter at PostedByCallum, all my socials PostedByCallum, and obviously the YouTube PostedByCallum as well, where I do a show called The Nelson with some other Norwich fans. Try to do it more regularly now that the Premier League season has started again. So, and other football content on there too occasionally. I've had like Spurs fans on my channel as well talking about their transfer business. So should I branch out and talk about football? So thanks.
Sounds good. No, brilliant. No, thank you, Callum. Again, the Twitter and the YouTube channel are in the description down below. Thank you everybody for watching as well, and we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.
Thanks, guys.